Hello there guys, my name is MrYorkiesWorld. Welcome back to the channel. It's been the first video, or this will be the first video should I say, in quite a while. As you know, I took a short break, or I've been taking a short break. I still sort of am. I'm getting used to welcoming my newly born daughter. She's 2 weeks old, and we're welcoming her to the world and to the family. I do have 2 kids and a fiance, so obviously life is pretty busy at the moment, and I've not had much of an opportunity to do many videos. However, I'm hoping that this video will hopefully change that, and we can get some more content out there as soon as possible, starting with this video. So as you can see, we've got the Jet2 Boeing 737-800 today. We are going to be taking Jet2 Flight 925 from Manchester to Palma. And as you can see, we are pretty cloudy. It's not too cloudy, it's okay, but it's not the best weather in the world. And we are at gate, where are we? 203, which I've got no idea whether that's the actual gate that this aircraft uses. We've got a Thomson, or it would be TUI now, over there. We've got a Ryanair in the distance, and we've got a Thomas Cook. But obviously in this video we're going to be using Jet2. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, we can of course make sure the parking brake is set, which it is. I'm going to go ahead and request the catering service from GSX. We're just going to go with that option. We can align the altimeter 3012. And of course, we can go ahead and do the fuel and payload. So today's flight will use approximately, where are we? 9,190. So 9,190 kilograms of fuel. Not really going to mess about with anything else at this stage. The fuel pumps, we can switch on the aft fuel pump. ISO valve to auto, and we might as well start the APU, get that started up straight away. We can switch on the wheel well light for the walk around, and let's just have a look. So our cruise altitude today is going to be 350, or at least I think it is. Yes, it is. Just checking on my sheet there, the plan sheet that I use. We can arm the emergency lights, switch on the seatbelts and the chime, get that all sorted nice and early. IRS is to nav. And we can go down to the FMC. In fact, where are the catering trucks? Are they anywhere near? Here they are. So I'll open up the doors before they even get a chance to ask me. I'm going to close the left forward entry and reopen it because of the GSX bug. Make sure that doesn't happen. Transponder, we can of course set to XPDR. And I'm going to go ahead and activate Pro ATCX. Bear with me a second. It's not activated by default when I start the sim. And eventually when it decides to load, there we go. That will switch over the frequencies. We can switch back from the ATIS, and we can get rid of that. So let me just get EFB up here. Go to flight plans, and I don't know why I've got Manchester to Malaga. We can clear that, and we can go to EGCC to LEPA. That's the right one. There we go. So this is the route. We don't know what the SID is yet until we ask Pro ATCX. But we're coming out of Manchester all the way over here, all the way down to LEPA, Palma De Mallorca, or De Mallorca, or however else you pronounce it. I've no idea. Right. Okay, so let's go ahead and sort out the FMC now. So where are we? It's been a while. Pausing it, let's just make sure in fact that we are using... Oh, what have I done? I have absolutely no idea. Anyway, I was going to check the air rack, but it would have told me if it was out of date. So, Echo Golf Charlie Charlie 203 is the gate, which of course is not going to be in the database, but that's where we are. GPSL position, and we have, or we should have a route set up. So EGCC to LEPA. Yes, we have. Right, we can close the doors for GSX. And of course, we can request clearance.
Clearance delivery EXS925 with the 80s request clearance.
EXS925. Expect clearance within 2 minutes. Stand by.
Roger. EXS925.
So we've got to wait for clearance. That's fine. That's no problem at all. It should really tell me what runway we're going to be using, despite the fact that we've got to wait, but it doesn't. So we're going to have to wait anyway. We've got the engine page up, that's all ready. Our flight number is going to be LS925.
We are ready, go ahead.
EXS925, runway 05 left, clear to destination.
05 left, that's 054. 7,000 on the initial.
Departure frequency is 124.25. Transponder 26475. QNH 1020.
We can request boarding.
Via vectors, climb into flight level 70, expect flight level 350 within 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 124.25.
Stick that in there, 05 left.
QNH 1020.
Activate and execute per finit. Reserves are 0.48.
Roger.
Transition altitude is 6,000, should I say. Cost index for Jet2 is 9. And our cruise altitude is going to be 350. Let me just make sure that corresponds with what Pro ATCX is saying. Yep, 350, that's perfectly fine, no problem at all. So execute that. N1 limit, we're going to use a 24k D rate. We're going to use flaps 5. And let's just get some winds as well. So, conditions. EGCC. So, 60 at 8 knots. Right, okay, so gives us a V2 of 146. Stick that in there. What we should have done really is sort out the departure and arrivals page. So, departure, we're not going to be using a SID according to that. That's pretty interesting. But we will put the arrival in. So arrivals, ILS Z24 left, with the Laura 1 Papa star. What's the transition we're going to be using? Pause. There we go. Execute that. I'm just going to check for any discontinuities. There aren't any. That's perfect. So, with that, LNAV's not going to arm because obviously we've not selected a SID, but it will arm once we're in the air. We can go down and just test the TCAS. Transfer the power. Yaw damper, window heats.
TCAS test passed.
TCAS has passed. We can switch off the wheel well light. And now, it's just a case of waiting. Sun's come out. Looks a little bit brighter now. Should be pretty nice. We're going to be departing, or we should be departing, approximately 6 minutes past 3 British summertime. Which, how do I get there? There we go. So we should be departing in, well, within the next 10 minutes basically. Which hopefully, if the passengers and the baggage get on in time, which might not happen. Might be a little bit late. I'm not too fussed about that. But who knows? We might just depart on time. Oops, what on earth am I doing? There we go. Right. So, with that, there's not a great deal else we can do at the moment, except wait for the passengers to actually get onto the aircraft. So, without further ado, I will catch up with you guys in just a few moments, once the baggage handling and the passengers and everything have been sorted out, and we will get ourselves out of here. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay guys, so I am being told that baggage handling has been completed, so without further ado we can close all the doors. We do have a jetway connected at the moment, which we can get rid of, like so. And I'm going to go ahead and request that we can start up and be pushed back.
Grant EGCC-925. Request start up and push back.
EGCC-925.
Startup is approved. Approved. EGCC-925.
Right, startup approved. I have gone ahead and selected the runway that we're going to be taxiing to. So we're currently at gate 203, sorry. We're going to be taxiing from Romeo, Delta, Alpha, and basically Alpha will take Alpha Golf take us to 05 left. Whether or not ATC tells us that's the case, I've no idea, but that's what we're going to do. So we'll be doing a tail right pushback. So let's go ahead and sort this out. So arm the auto throttle, hydraulic pumps, or fuel pump should I say, then hydraulic pumps. You can tell I've not done this in a while. Anti-collision light, wheel well's already off. We can of course disconnect ground connections, and we can stick the the right FMC onto the legs page. The left FMC is on the takeoff ref page. So let's go ahead and request pushback. Or request pushback from GSX rather. Tail right. And let's get ourselves out of here. There's the truck. Again, LNAV's not going to arm at the moment, but we'll sort that out once we're airborne.
Be pushing back in a couple of minutes. Parking brake on, please.
Parking brake set, that's fine. Everything on the overhead looks okay as well.
Lock in the gear.
There's our little friend.
Bypass pin is inserted. Apron's now clear, ready to push. Now release parking brakes, please.
Parking brakes
Clear
released.
behind. Commencing push.
Engine number 2.
Start at your discretion.
Looking for 25%. Or thereabouts. That's engine number 2's cut out. We can start engine number 1. Same procedure. That'll do for me. Not perfectly dead on the taxi line, but hopefully we will be in a few seconds.
Push now complete. Set parking brakes, please.
Parking brakes are set. Both engines have completely spooled up. They're started, so we'll go to continuous. Probe heats. APU power. Packs, APU bleed, and APU itself can come off. Let's go ahead and set the flaps. And the trim. See the flaps being extended.
Disconnected and clear. Bypass pin is removed.
And while we're at it, we'll also do a quick control check. So, full left, full right, and if we go ahead and go back into the cockpit, if I can find the right button, full forward, full back,
Right is clear. Right is
rudder
clear.
left,
Disconnected.
and rudder right.
Away.
We can of course go ahead and switch on the taxi and turn-offs, and we can request taxi from ATC.
2921 is cleared of the runway. Request taxi to parking.
In a second.
2921, taxi via Alpha Delta to gate 5.
Via Alpha Delta to gate 5. Easy 2921. Ground EXS925. Request taxi.
EXS925, taxi via Lima Bravo Alpha to runway 05 left.
Via Lima Bravo Alpha to runway 05 left. EXS925.
Right. Parking brake released. And without further ado,
The captain has turned on the fasten seatbelt sign if you haven't already done so. We request that you store your luggage and take your seat so we can have an on-time departure. For those passengers seated in
oops, and a random burst of light just appeared on us. No idea what's caused that.
the exit row information card located in the seatback pocket. To ensure you meet the exit row criteria and understand the information.
But regardless, frames are okay at Manchester, to be honest. It's UK 2000 scenery,
Please notify a flight attendant.
and the frames are not too bad at all, but they could be better. Might have to tinker with a few things.
I will notify you when it is safe to bring these items out for use. If there's any
Scenery itself looks lovely.
questions on board today, please refer to the What's on Board section of your My magazine. Thank you for your attention.
Right, so we should be coming up on November, according to that signpost, telling us to go to the right, but we're actually going to go to the left for November. Try and increase that speed a little bit. We've also put the fix information in. I was very quick to do that whilst the passengers were boarding, so we've got some fix rings around Palma, just so that we know where we're going and how far away we are from the airport. Got an EasyJet there, and according to EFB, it's not actually that busy today in Manchester, which will probably be different in real life, but obviously we do have the scenery, or should I say the traffic settings, turned down a little bit, just to help with that FPS. So we're on Delta. Again, we're not exactly following what ATC's told us to do, because it doesn't appear to always be to always be accurate. Trying to follow that taxi line. Thomas Cook building there. And the taxi to the runway isn't actually that long, so I don't think I'll skip it. But if I do, then you'll randomly hear me saying, "Oh, I skipped it. I told you I wasn't going to do it." But it's not too much of an issue. Got what looks to be an EasyJet over there taxiing. Just ahead of us. I'll take this turn into the right. Swinging this thing round probably faster than it's meant to be swung around, but we are in a hurry. We're already 5 minutes late on departure, which is nothing compared to delays that happen in the real world, I know, but I like to be as close to departure time as possible. Or as close to the indicated departure time of whichever flight we're going to be replicating. So here's Alpha, which is going to be taking us on to Alpha Bravo, I believe it is, and then we'll be there basically. We'll be on the runway. Should hear from Tower any minute, telling us to tune to a frequency. Completely missing the taxi line. Again, do bear with me, it's been a while since I've flown in the 737, or any aircraft in P3D for the past several months, or past several weeks, or however long it's been. Feels like years, to be honest. But there we are, the lovely Jet2 livery. Nice wing view. And we should be coming up anytime soon. We should receive a message from Tower, or from ATC, telling us to contact Tower. We've also got some Terraflora happening with regards to the trees. I've decided to finally make that purchase. We've got Orbex as well. You can use them both together, and I've got to admit, I am really impressed. Right, so here we go. Not sure why Tower has failed to contact us. Here we go.
925, contact Tower on 118.62. 118.62, EXS-9025.
Right, let's contact them right now then.
Tower, EXS-9025. Holding short, runway 05 left, ready for departure. EXS-9025, line up runway 05 left. Lining up runway 05.
Right, so we can line up.
EXS-9025.
TA and RA. Landing lights, taxi lights can come off, and I will put the strobes on as well. And let's get this baby off the ground. Probably should have lined up a little bit further down at the actual threshold of the runway, but this is where EFB told us to go, so this is what we're doing.
EXS-9025, wind 060 at 8, runway 05 left, cleared for takeoff, good flight.
Okay, clear for takeoff.
Cleared for takeoff, EXS-9025.
40%. Start the clock and toga. Airspeed alive. $80 knots.
V1.
Rotate.
V2.
Positive rate. Gear up. Lovely wing view. And on the other side.
Departure EXS-9025. With you passing 900 for flight level 70.
EXS-9025.
Pitch the nose up a little bit.
Flight level 70.
Climb into flight level
Lock the gear. Auto brake off.
925.
Very, very foggy. We've got limited visibility at the moment.
1842. Climb and maintain.
Activate
flight
LNAV.
level 70.
Climb and maintain. Flight level 70.
And the autopilot. Altitude spam. Looking good. We'll go ahead and set the seatbelts to auto. Engines to normal. And turn-offs can come off.
EXS-9025. Turn right heading 125. Climb to flight level 170.
170.
Right turn to heading 125. Climb into flight level 170.
Spam that in. And we can go flaps up as well. Goodbye, Manchester. So that was pretty good. The flight should take approximately 2 hours and 15 minutes, which is something I forgot to mention. So, not too long, not too short.
Identified. Descend to 4,000.
Just the way I like it. Some nice reflections coming off the belly of the aircraft.
Clear direct to SA and BA. Intersection. Turn right heading 225. Climb to flight level 170.
Standard pressurization.
Right turn to heading 225. Climb
We,
into
of
flight
course,
level
don't need to turn to
170.
225, but I will put it into the heading select. In fact, it's not even 225. It's somewhere around here, so that'll probably be like, well, 208, which is what we're currently at. But look at that view. Absolutely lovely.
Departure 325 with you at flight level.
Lovely clouds, cloud shadows, the sky's looking amazing.
Identified.
Going to be coming up on 10,000 very, very shortly. There we go. Switch off the landing lights. And without further ado, we are on our way. I also forgot to mention this flight is a flight, and of course the return one as well, is something that I'm going to be doing next year. I'm actually going to be travelling on this very flight from Manchester to Palma. So it should be pretty interesting. I think I have replicated a flight before that I've actually been on in real life. Maybe one or two of them, I can't remember. It's been a long time. But nevertheless, we do have, like I said, the fix information in. So I've put the 50, 100 and 150 mile radius rings around LEPA, as I like to call it. Both FMCs now are on the legs page. Look at that, lovely. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. So 3:06 we were meant to depart, and 6:25 PM local time is when we should be arriving. So it should be a nice evening arrival. Hopefully the lighting will look decent. What I will do is I'm going to program in our arrival into EFB so that I don't have to mess about getting the details of everything. So we're going to be using the Laura 1 Papa. Let me just... Sound's going to go quite a little bit. Let me just... Arrival, so... it's going to be 24 left, ILS Z24 left. With a pause transition. And if I get that up on here, this is essentially going to be the arrival. So we come in from Lores, and obviously we follow Posba down here and straight in, basically. 280.
Climb into flight level 280, EXS925.
Spam that in.
Contact Manchester on 118.77.
So yeah, that is basically it. So of course we've got the runway elevation there, we've got the ILS frequency and the course and everything that we're going to need. So what I will do is put the ILS into the standby radio. So 109.30,
Continue on navigation, EXS925.
like so. We don't need to do anything with the course. We'll sort that out at a later date. Did we put it in? Yeah, we did put it into the FMC as well. So, there we go. The beginning of the very first flight in a very long time on this channel. Welcome back. I'm going to let you watch through some, hopefully, nice looking cinematics as we head over to Palma. We are literally heading up to 280 at the moment anyway, so altitude's going to start to climb, scenery's going to start to sort of back off a little bit. You're not going to be able to see very much. So, I'll let you see those cinematics. I'll see you in a bit. Okay guys, so we have been cleared to descend to 230. The 150 mile radius ring is just here. And the next waypoint is Ibrap and then Lukev. We have already gone ahead and put in the barrow for the minimums. All we need to do, because we've already selected the arrival, is select what we're going to be using in terms of the approach reference page and flaps and everything. So we're going to be using flaps 30 at 142, like so. Progress page 1631 Zulu is when we should be arriving. It's currently 1555 Zulu. I will just take that speed of, if I get to the right page, 142 plus 5. So 147. If I can get the numbers right, there we go, 147. To be honest, I think we can probably use auto brake 1, although we usually use auto brake 2. I'll use auto brake 1. It's a reasonably sized runway. What else have we got? So, we don't really need to do anything in terms of the seatbelts because we've not actually got to that stage yet. I do like to use level change, so I'm going to use level change just for the sake of it. I'll increase that speed a little bit though. Speed of descent. Or speed while we're descending. In fact, no, that's the wrong idea. Why am I doing that? I'll just leave it on VNAV. Leave it on VNAV for now. You can see we've got some mountains. Looking nice. So usually what I would do is go through the arrivals with you and show you what arrival we're going to be using. So that's what we'll do. We already know that we're going to be using this particular arrival on ILS 24 left. The arrival itself is going to be ILSC 24 left using the Law 1 Papa star via the POS transition. And it's pretty straightforward. Whereabouts are we now? So there, we're here. So we've got Lukev is the next waypoint. And then Lorez is where we basically start the procedure for the landing, or the approach. So that's all good. And obviously, let's just go back to this. It says ETA is 25 minutes. So 1622 Zulu is what it's calculating, which is slightly out because the FMC thinks we're going to be there for 1631. But nevertheless, that's fine. It's nearly 1600 hours Zulu. We've got the course of 238 put in there. I'm going to switch over the frequencies of 109.30 for the ILS. And we're looking good. So it looks like VNAV is taking us, or keeping us at around 250 knots. I don't usually like using the FMC because it doesn't always get it right. But there is a speed restriction. 250 knots, 240, 215. We'll see if it works out. If not, we'll have to just use level change and take it from there. 166 is the current heading. And again, 230 is the altitude that we've been cleared to. So with that, I think it's about time I caught up with you when we are ready to begin the landing sequence. So, for you, it will be a matter of seconds. For me, it's going to be about another 20-25 minutes. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay guys, so as you can see, we've got some iffy, shall we say, weather. We currently have a 16 knot wind coming from the right. This is where we are at the moment. There's the decel, there's Batham, and the ILS feathers are just here. You can just make out, or well, you can make out the mountainous terrain just around here. Almost there. It's currently 1623 Zulu, and according to the progress page we should be there for 1634 Zulu. 248 knots at the moment at 4,500 feet. We're almost fully configured. We've even got the speed brake armed and everything. I'm thinking of dropping some flaps just to help with the attitude. If we have a look on EFB, you can see we entered this entire procedure at Lores. That's where we started the arrival. And it says here 7 minutes of the flight remaining. So we'll soon see how that goes. Let's just bug up the heading to 151. Speed to 250, that's the restriction that we're currently working with. Although I will start to drop that down now. With flaps 1. In fact, we'll go for flaps 2. Drop that speed down a little bit. See those flaps being extended.
ILS Zulu approach, runway 24 left, transition POS EXS925.
Right, okay, 1625. There's Bavam again. 24 left, ILS feathers. Weather's looking okay, it was looking a little bit iffy, we had a few red spots. But they seem to have disappeared. It looks like we're going to have a nice sort of headwind as well by the looks of it. 16 knots at the moment. Not too bad. Frames are looking okay at the moment as well. Although that could quite easily change. In fact, you know what? I'm going to go flaps 5. Lovely and early. Just going to disengage the speed brake from the armed position because we might need to use it in these last few moments. Again, we're going to be using auto brake 1 as opposed to 2. We'll see how that goes. I usually stick to auto brake 2, but decided to change things up a little bit. Just bug up this turn. We'll say about 183 on the heading. It's actually 185 according to EFB. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. And I'm pretty sure we should be asked to descend a little bit further at some point soon. We're at 4,500 at the moment. I will reduce to 230 knots. In fact, we'll do 225 because we need our flaps 10 speed, which is going to be 210. So we need to be able to get there without having to use the speed brake, hopefully. In fact, judging by how far away we are at the moment, we're quite close. I'm going to get that ready now. So reducing the speed. The flaps 10 speed is 210, but I've reduced it 5 knots below just to compensate for any changes in wind. You can see that we are sort of struggling to reduce speed. It's sort of going up and down at the moment, but as long as we get to 205, we should be fine. I might have to employ the speed brake just to help with that. Yeah, let's do that. And we'll go flaps 10. beautiful view. ...195 knots. And pretty soon we should have the localizer, which is coming in shortly. Just a little bit further. Glide slope's just there, coming in. Everything on the overhead looks okay. Here we go, 2,500.
2,500 EXS925.
Now this is where I might have to use vertical speed just to get to the correct altitude. Let's reduce that down. VOR lock. Having to do quite a few things in a small space of time at the minute. That speed's creeping up again. Just make sure it doesn't go over. .20 headwind now. Almost completely dead on headwind. Well, not quite, but yeah. As we begin, if we bring over EFB, these are the ILS feathers. Almost there.
EXS925. Ascend and maintain 2,500. Clear to final approach power at the marker. Frequency is 118.3. Descending to 2,500. Cleared approach. Tower at the marker. 118.3. EXS925.
It's looking nice.
2,500.
2,500 checked. And here it is, it's coming up. There we go, we should start to level off now. Increase that speed just a little bit. Put the speed brakes away. Completely forgot about those, we can arm them. Match up the heading. And our final approach speed is 146 knots. Glide slope starting to come in again now. And just reduce that speed a little bit. Flaps 15 speed is 200 knots.
Tower EXS925. On final, runway 24 left. Channel 925. Slow to final approach speed. QNH.
Final approach speed.
010. Clear to land, runway 24
Clear to land. We can activate
Final
approach.
speed, QNH 1010.
I'm going to go
Clear to land,
gear down
runway 24 left.
and flaps 15.
EXS925.
We can go flap 25. And even flap 30. Wonderful. Speed's coming back nicely as well. That headwind's dropped a little bit now. 16 knots, variable. Should make for a pretty interesting landing. So we've got the auto brake set, gears down with 3 greens, we've got the speed brake armed, lights are all sorted, engines are sorted, seatbelts are sorted, been cleared for landing. I'm going to activate the second autopilot. The missed approach is 2500, which is there. And everything's set. And we are fully established. Perfect. Some buildings in the background, that's 1,000 feet. Going to give it a few more seconds, it's been a while since I last flew, so just going to give it a few more seconds until I disconnect. Just until I'm happy. We don't appear to have any other traffic either, which is nice. Right, 2 reds, 2 whites. Disconnecting. The aircraft is now mine. Just trying to keep nice and central. Wind's blowing me around a little bit, but should be able to manage it. Getting a little bit high now. Should try and drop that down. There we go. Trying to focus on the PFD, but at the same time I'm focusing on the Pappies because Pappies will probably be more accurate.
400.
Still battling that wind.
300. Approaching minimum. 200. Minimum.
Continue. A little bit low.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Touchdown. Reversers. $60 knots, manual braking. Rapid exit, can we use it? Should be able to.
121.75 EXS925.
Right. That wasn't too bad actually. Not as bad as I thought it would be. Let's just get ourselves parked up. Somewhere along here. And then what I'll do is configure the aircraft. Or clean up a little bit. But welcome everybody to Palma. 1637, which according to the progress page, it's not going to tell us now, but there we go. Let's do, oops, just banging my microphone, I do apologise. Let's do a little bit of cleanup. And of course we can set the parking brake. Transponder can come off. Transfer the frequencies. Stop the clock. Flaps can come up. And we can request taxi, I think.
Grab EXS925. It's cleared off the runway. Request taxi for parking.
Janet 925, taxi via Sierra Oscar Uniform Tango Hotel to Terminal 1, Gate 41.
Via Sierra Oscar Uniform Tango Hotel to Terminal 1, Gate 41.
Gate 41.
EXS925.
Can't seem to find that on EFB. So I'm going to type in 40 and assume that 41 will be next to it. Right, okay. Gate 40. Now there only appears to be a 40 and then a 42 and a 44. Let me just have a look. No, we don't appear to be able to find it, so we're going to go to gate 40 instead. So we'll set up gate 40. So speeds are up. Or flaps are up. Why am I saying speeds are up? Speed brake is away. We can switch off or switch to normal the engines. Taxi and turn-offs can come on. Strobes back to steady. We can start the APU. Switch off the probe heats. And we're going to go to gate 40. Because 41 doesn't appear to be available. So parking brake released. And away we go. Welcome once again, everybody, to Palma.
Ryanair 998, request taxi. Ryanair 998, taxi via Echo Hotel 3 to runway 24 right. Via Echo Hotel 3 to runway 24 right.
Lovely scenery. I can't remember
998.
who actually makes this scenery. Is it? I'm not sure whether it's Aerosoft. Yeah, it's the Aerosoft Balearic Islands, that's right. Wonderful piece of scenery, absolutely lovely. Not just the airport, but the surrounding scenery is absolutely fantastic as well. Absolutely gorgeous, look at that. Coming on to evening time. Handled that flight pretty well. The landing was quite challenging, but I think we managed overall. Not sure we could have done any better, to be honest. Possibly a little bit too low at the very end. Could probably have tracked the centre line a little bit better as well. But we're only humans, so there we go. So it's this next turning, which will take us on to, I believe, Golf. Yeah. Performance at this airport is pretty nice. It's not perfect, but I don't think any scenery is perfect on performance in P3D. At the time of making this video, we're actually using 4.4. I am aware that 4.5 has now been released, and I will be upgrading to that very, very shortly. The next flight, which will probably be the return flight from Palma back to Manchester, will probably be a version 4.5 flight. So I'm excited to test that out. Right, okay, so I can see GSX. I am going to switch off the taxi and turn off lights very, very early. And just down here, oops, see that's that bug with the lighting. At certain angles, the lighting changes, which is a bit of a shame, but there's not a great deal I can do about it. So here's gate 40, just on the left, and see if I can actually do some decent parking. Try and swing it round a little bit. I always end up messing this up, so hopefully it'll be okay. Just line up for a start, that would be best. There we go. Four, 3, 2, 1, and I'm going to stop there. Not perfect by any means. In fact, we could probably have gone a little bit further forward. Just to be a perfectionist. There we go. Right. Okay, so transfer the power. I will cut the engines. And I will set the passenger signs off. APU bleed can come on. I will switch the anti-collision light off, even though we shouldn't do that yet. Fuel pumps. Hydraulics are already off. We can open the ISO valve. We can select ground power as well. That's that selected. In fact, we can switch off the APU with that. We can request deboarding. Which of course means we need a jetway. Open the doors up. And the cargo as well. Look at that. Wonderful. Look at the amount of detail that they've actually put into it.
Baggage handling is complete and the aircraft
So, with that, once again everybody, welcome to Palma De Mallorca. No so jetway dot, you will not see passengers. I'm not really bothered. Welcome to Palma De Mallorca. Welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I uploaded a video. Hope you enjoyed the flight. The return flight is going to be quite exciting with P3D 4.5. So I'm excited to test that out. And yeah, so hope you enjoyed. Leave me a like if you did. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And if you want to support the channel, all the ways you can do that are in the description of this video. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.